in the general election results that we have, that there is a lot of lack of service delivery, and it is not reflecting in any of these reports. There is no reflection of the building of state capacity, which is supposed to be the focus of what we are doing here. So, Chairperson, on my part, I cannot in good conscience support any of these things that are presented in front of us, because also I don't know where they're coming from, and I feel like we should have made contributions as a committee to have something that we can present that is going to change the living conditions of our people. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honourable, for that input. I think there's one more hand, and then we will give the administration opportunity to just comment on all of the inputs that were made. Honourable Biyela, am I correct in assuming that you also wanted to give an input?
Yes, Chair. In fact, Chairperson, I wanted to suggest that we concentrate on one report at a time so that we can effect the suggestions of members rather than going all over. Because it will confuse us to see which one we are working on. I just thought that because we were on the NSG, that was the last one, then we can talk on the NSG and then put it aside and then go to the next one. That was going to be my suggestion, Chairperson. And coming to the concern that is raised on the reports, I would say that the department's table reports to Parliament, and then the Speaker sends it to committees and to staff in Parliament to analyze them for the members. It starts from the budget votes, which we send out to honourable members. And then the departments come to present. We raise issues in the budget vote analysis, and then when the departments come to the committee to present, those questions are raised by members, and then they raise their concerns on what the departments are presenting. And then we note all those things, those issues from the members and from the departments themselves, and then we write a report for the honourable members, and then we present it like we are doing today, so that they can deliberate and then take a step forward. That's how the process went. It's unfortunate that I think the members themselves were rushed, as you know that we did it yesterday, and the staff had to sleep at 1 o'clock to prepare these reports for members, so that when they wake up, they have these reports. So it has never happened like this, for the process to be rushed like this. This was beyond us as well. I suppose also for members as well. So we apologize on behalf of staff in that regard, that the reports were rushed like this, and then we didn't find time, honourable members, to read through. Or if you read through, but you didn't have time to contemplate or more on issues. So for that, I'm really apologizing, honourable members. Then, Chairperson, my suggestion is that we do the NSG first, and then we go to the other ones, so that we can effect whatever the members will be raising. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that input. I hear a voice. Is there someone else who wants to make an input?
It's me, Chairperson. That's precisely what I'm saying, that we are like new members. We're new in the committee. We're supposed to be familiarizing ourselves with what we are committing to. right? We should know that these are, are precisely the things that need to be processed. How do we know that when we wake up to reports that are presented to us in another hour, and we're supposed to support that?
No, honorable member, I understand 100% what you're saying, and it is a tough situation for both the administration and for us as members of this committee. In effect, we have to deal with reports that was generated by the sixth parliament, and we are now the seventh parliament. So we've been handed this responsibility, but none of us around in this meeting or in this committee was part of the previous rounds and the formulation of these reports or these budgets. So I have sympathy with your position. But here we are. We are the new committee, and the business of government needs to go on. So it is, I think, our responsibility to try and apply our minds as best we can to these reports. I think most members have managed to read through them this morning, and the recommendations have been highlighted now by the presentation. And I think the way to go is to take us through the different reports, is to go through the different reports one by one as suggested. And then once we deliberate on the report, we will then vote on whether we adopt it or not. I see another hand. Wezima, please go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members. I would wish to submit that, as you have proposed, that we deal with the report as per one by one. And if there's any other matter which we would want to raise, it must be informed by the briefings which were made yesterday, because the briefings which were made yesterday with the briefing on the departmental activities. And it's unfortunately, as you have indicated, that we are dealing with the work of the sixth administration, and the timing could be not good to us. But however, we have to take the reports to Parliament for discussions and approval before any expenditures can be utilized. So in my view, is for us to engage. But however, Chair, we afford ourselves some time through yourselves for a session where we'll engage on the issues. And if we would want to make more recommendations, we request for another slot where we'll present our views. But this is informed by the annual performance plan. Then we prepare ourselves as the department have to undergo for their strategic plans in preparation for the next year financial year budget. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, thank you, Honourable, for those inputs. I agree. I think we need to get on with the business. But it is my intention to ask the administration to set up a induction meeting for us, where we not only work through all of or have a look at the legacy report and have a look at what the sixth Parliament committee did, but also start to just understand what is the legislation that's coming our way, and also start understanding our support staff and who they are and how we as a committee should function. So it is my intent to ask for an induction meeting where we spend time on working on understanding our roles, because as can be expected, we are all new and we need to get through it. Honorable Knott, I see you still have a hand. Is that a legacy hand, or do you have a new input?
It's new input, Chair, but if you're going to go report by report, I'm happy to keep it. It was just an additional question I had with regards to the PSC.
Okay, no problem. Then I think we will start with the PSC, with the report on the Public Service Commission, and I will now ask members to raise their hands and for input on the Public Service Commission report, please. I think, Honourable Knott, you can start, and then I will note the other hands as they appear on the platform.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, I think I understand the complexity of what we're dealing with, and unfortunately, we've come in at a rather bizarre time where it's sort of mid-processes. So, for the time being, I think, we do need to think about, how we do things, etc. But we can't hold up the work of government. It has sort of profound effects on service delivery to the citizens of the country. So I am aware of that, but at the same time, I agree with the other honourable members, that we need to be fully affair with what we're approving and how it's going to the plenary. I just want to understand the parameters of the bill that we are going to be briefed on. What are our parameters in terms of whether or not, we're happy with it? Because obviously it's followed a public participation process, it's come back and it needs to be approved according to that report within the next year. If there are issues or items within that amendment bill that we are unhappy with, what is our capacity as a committee to be able to affect any changes or make any comments into it? Or are we basically, sitting at the end of a process and just being briefed on it? I think that's not, it wasn't clear from the report on whether or not, it's basically just a briefing or we have the ability to actually provide input. And if there are serious or fundamental problems with it, we have the ability to sort of bring it back to Parliament, if you will, for review or amendments or whatever we may decide. Thanks.
Thank you, Honourable Knott. I will leave it to the administration in the feedback to explain to us where we are in the legislative process and what opportunities there will still be for us as a committee for input. Honourable members, is there any other input specifically on the Public Service Commission report?
Chairperson.
Please go ahead.
Chair. Oh, sorry, Chair. I'm unable to raise my hand in this gadget, but I'm in the line of speaking. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. You can go next. We will first have Honourable Sikuliza's input, and then afterwards you can go. Thank you.
So I'm having a difficulty, Chairperson. It goes back to the issue I was raising of just being rushed to these things. So there's a bill that is before the National Assembly to make this Chapter 10 institution to be a Chapter 9 institution, and we haven't been taken through the bill. You see, we haven't been taken through the bill. We don't know how we can assist. We don't know how we can push it forward, but we are expected to support this report. I don't know if the committee understands what I'm trying to raise here, like the importance of it, that we're committing to something that we don't even know.
Thank you, Honourable Sikuliza. I note your concern. I'm not going to comment myself. I'll let the administration comment on where we are in the legislative process, so that we can maybe comment after that. I also note that Honourable Zizi Kodwa put up his hand, so if we can just proceed in that order.
I don't know, Chair, if you noted me. I think your last remark does address my concern. I think the difficulty we must accept as a committee is a very unique situation we find ourselves as a seventh administration, with all the challenges of a delayed formation of a government, and therefore we have to congest the parliamentary program in terms of the rules of parliament. And now, unfortunately, we can't hold a government into ransom. I think one member of the committee made that point. If we cannot submit these reports for adoption by Parliament, almost the entire entities that presented the reports before us yesterday will not be able to function without their APPs being adopted. I did go through late last night this report, and this morning I got a sense of what the department and entities were doing. And I think we must accept that reality and your recommendation that perhaps following this, we've got to have an induction of how our work, how departments and how reports get to the portfolio committee and get processed. At this stage, it's difficult not to not to process the reports as they are. Otherwise, we'll just be contributing something which is, I don't think it has ever happened, where a department or in the programming, we will have to make a special arrangement for Parliament again to discuss a separate report because they are adopted as one program. So that is a difficult. I think we must just accept, Chair, with your understanding as well about the uniqueness of the situation we find ourselves in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Kodwa. I'd agree with you. That is the predicament we find ourselves in. And I think that is why at the end, when we asked to move for the adoption of the report, honourable members will have the chance to support or not support the adoption. But they must ask themselves, you know, what would be the implications if we, as you clearly put out, if we do not accept the report. There was another member who wanted to give input. Can I please ask if?
Yes, Chair. Yes, Chair.
Thank
It's
you.
me. It's me,
Thank you.
Karanchaba.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, as much as we are carry on with the work of the sixth administration, the problem that I'm sitting with here, I didn't get any document from yesterday. I just get document now while I supposed to log into the committee. As I was saying, when I come in, that the secretary didn't call me because I was not in the meeting when we were in the meeting yesterday. I was in another committee and I was lost, but it's fine. Chair, I agree with Honorable Tikane and Honorable Godwa that even if we are new in this committee, but we cannot punish the department. I think I agree and I support what Aziz Godwa said and the Honorable Tikane. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that input. I will, you know, I think being new, one of the teething problems that we will have is that the administration still needs to make sure that that they send our documentation to the right email addresses and that our numbers and all our information is correct. I did receive the calendar entry and also the documents, and I did see that all the other members' email addresses for the other members were on there. So maybe that's just something the administration can make sure with you to double check that they've got your correct email address. So yeah, I obviously it's not ideal if you did not receive the documents. It is something which we will, which the administration will get to grips with as we go along. Members, are there any other inputs on the Public Service Commission report, or I ask from the floor for the adoption?
May I move for adoption of the PSA report, Chairperson? Honorable Kodwa.
Yes, I note your proposal. Is there a seconder?
I'm able to second the Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mashele. It has been seconded. Is there anybody who would like to move for a different decision? Okay, and with that, then the report has been adopted, and the recommendations of the report. Members, I would just like to say that if you are uncomfortable, you are allowed to note your discomfort with the adoption. So just so that nobody feels that their voice was not heard. So
Please note my discomfort.
Okay, and just am I correct in saying that you are from the Economic Freedom Fighters?
Economic Freedom Fighters, Chairperson, you're correct.
Thank you, administration. You can just note that the EFF has their discomfort with the report. Thank you very much. Then we move on to the second report. Let's deal with the Department of Public Service Administration report. Members, I ask for any inputs, deliberations on this specific report.
Chair,
Please go ahead.
yes, let me put the members at ease concerning the PSC bill. The PSC bill could not go through in the sixth parliament, so it's gonna be tabled anew from the commission in the seventh parliament. So nothing was done to the PSC bill. So the members will be able to interrogate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I apologies. I should have asked you to just give that input. So we will as the seventh administration actually have the opportunity to go through the whole legislative process and give our inputs for that bill, which I think is good news for most of the members. It means that we will all have an opportunity to give our inputs. Is there any other input you would like to give on the questions or the statements that was made by members?
Yes, Chair. Possibly the issue of the independence of the PSC being compromised. I think it was Honorable Not, if I'm not mistaken, who raised the issue. The issue there, Honorable Member, is that presently the PSC office, because there is the commission and then there is the office of the PSC, which is responsible for the administration and the programs that were presented. So the staff there are under the Public Service Act. And you will note, honorable members, that the DG raised an issue that the DG and the staff are still under the Public Service Act, and they are treated as public servants, whereas all the other Chapter 9 institutions, although the PSC is Chapter 10, but it operates in the same way with the Chapter 9 institutions. So all those have their own independent staff which are not under the Public Service Act. So that was the concern, that it compromises the independence of the PSC. If we say it's independent, but the administration component is under the public service. So that was the issue. So, but all these things, as we say, the members will be able to interrogate as the bill is tabled going forward. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much for that input. We then move on to the report of the Department of Public Service and Administration. Members, I did ask if there was any input. I will give another opportunity. Otherwise, we will move towards the adoption of the report. Is there anybody who would like to give further input on this report? Is there any member who would like to propose that we adopt the recommendations and the report itself?
I'll propose, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Knott. We've got a proposer. Can we please have a seconder?
I second, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Kodwa. That means the report has now been adopted and the recommendations. We can move on to the third report, the one on the Public Service Commission and the National School of Government. Honourable members, is there any member who would like to give specific input or ask questions on this report, the one on the Commission of the National School of Government? Okay, I note two hands, Honorable Knott and Honorable Kodwa. So please proceed in that order. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Just to repeat my earlier question, the body of the report includes the expansion of the training programs to state-owned and municipal-owned entities, but the recommendations are specifically geared towards senior management in departments. So if it's possible, could we include in the recommendations what is basically itemized in the report itself with regards to the entities? Thanks.
Honorable Kodwa.
I have no question, Chairperson, except to say maybe I'm very familiar with the school. I see in the body, especially of the base document before observation and so on, and the recommendation, the formulation, there's where it makes reference to a national school government. And somewhere it says, I know those are typos or errors. I think those who want to read the report, it must be referred to what it is, the National School of Government. I've come across a few of those errors, but I think it's a well-written report. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Just to proofread it.
Thank you. No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think as we've heard, the administration has stayed up to quite late to produce these reports. So I'm sure that they will just go through them again and just find all of these technical corrections. But thank you for highlighting that. If the administration can just please answer or see if we can accommodate the recommendation by Honourable Knott, and if there is any member who has a problem with that they can just please also raise that on the floor.
Thank you, Chair and honourable members and colleagues. Yes, I think we are amenable to add the recommendation. We will just add the SOE component to the recommendation. Of course, it's a wise recommendation, because if we even go to the private sector to include them in the training, why not the people that belong to the state as well? Yeah, we accept the recommendation. We will effect it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, is there any other inputs that needs to be given before we move for the adoption of the report? Okay, doesn't seem that there's any further deliberation needed. So can I please ask from the floor, is there a proposer that we accept the report and its recommendations?
Chair, I'll propose in the silence.
Thank you, Honourable Knott. It was getting a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm glad someone is proposing. Is there a seconder?
Again, I second Chairperson in silence.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. That means that apologies, I muted myself. The report and the recommendations has now been adopted. Honourable members, that is it for our meeting. Thank you very much for attending. This is not how our normal business will be. We will get to know each other. We will get to know the administration. And I would just like to repeat my request to the administration that not next week, the week after. Next week is SONA and all the mini plenaries, but the week after, at our first available slot for the committee, that we have a nice induction session, a physical session where we all sit together, that we can learn each other's names, that we can start working through the first and the most important business that this committee needs to get to, and that we can understand different roles of the committee and also all of the advisors and the administration that works for the committee. So once we have a date for that, I'm sure it will be communicated to us, and I look forward to working with all of you. Members, before I close, is there anybody who wants to make a closing remark? Okay. Thank you very much, members. I hope you have a pleasant day further, and thank you for the administration for the reports. I hope you have a wonderful day. I herewith close this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you,
Thank
honourable
you, Chair.
members.
Bye.